Argentina's inflation rate sits at triple digits, yet premium steak dinners in downtown Buenos Aires cost less than a cup of airport coffee in New York. We are standing right in the middle of a massive economic puzzle that's reshaping travel in 2026. Across South America, a quiet revolution is happening. Currencies are shifting, digital nomad hubs are popping up in unexpected mountain towns, and your money is stretching further than it has in a decade. If you've been dreaming of packing your bags and living abroad without breaking the bank, you're about to see a side of the continent that the guidebooks completely miss. We're diving deep into the actual numbers, the real living conditions, the hidden costs, and the surprising truths about where your dollars will take you this year. Let's start with the grand ranking. When you look at the raw data for 2026, South America isn't just one homogeneous cheap destination. It's a tiered landscape of extreme contrasts. At the very top of the affordability index right now is Argentina, largely driven by currency dynamics that make life incredibly affordable for anyone holding foreign cash. Right behind it, you have Paraguay and Bolivia, two landlocked nations where your monthly expenses can drop below $1,000 without sacrificing comfort. Then come the mid-tier powerhouses like Colombia and Peru, where major cities like Medellin and Lima offer world-class infrastructure at a fraction of North American prices. Further down the affordability scale, but still offering incredible value compared to Europe or the US, are countries like Brazil and Chile. Brazil sits in a sweet spot, massive, diverse, and surprisingly budget-friendly if you step away from the ultra-luxury beach resorts of Rio de Janeiro. Every single one of these countries operates on a different economic rhythm. In Argentina, you're navigating a system where cash is king, and official rates versus blue rates create a parallel financial universe. In Paraguay, you're dealing with a quiet, stable currency, anchored by a booming agricultural sector and very low taxes. Bolivia remains delightfully disconnected from global inflation trends, keeping street food and local markets dirt cheap. Colombia balances a booming tech and remote work scene, with surprisingly low operational costs for food and rent. Brazil offers immense geographic scale, meaning your dollar stretches endlessly once you leave the tourist bubbles. Understanding this ranking is just the first step. The real magic happens when you look at where you're actually going to sleep. Let's talk about accommodations, specifically the Airbnb market across these nations in 2026. Imagine opening up your laptop in a sun-drenched loft in the bohemian neighborhood of Palermo in Buenos Aires. Exposed brick walls, high ceilings, blazing fast fiber optic internet, and a private balcony overlooking jacaranda trees. In North America, a space like this would easily drain $3,000 or $4,000 a month. Here, you can secure it for under $800. And that's just the capital. If you venture south into the breathtaking lake regions of Bariloche or north into the red rock gorges of Salta, those prices plummet even further. Moving north to Colombia, the rental market tells a fascinating story of gentrification and localized bargains. In Medellin's El Poblado, prices have climbed significantly over the last few years due to the influx of remote workers. But if you cross the ridge into Loroz or take a short flight to the salsa capital of Cali, you unlock massive, modern apartments with doormen, rooftop pools, and security for $600 a month. In Brazil, the Airbnb landscape is all about location arbitrage. While a studio apartment in Ipanema facing the Atlantic Ocean will cost you a pretty penny just 3 neighborhoods inland, in areas like Tijuca or parts of Santa Teresa, you get authentic colonial architecture, vibrant local community life, and rentals that cost a fraction of the beachfront prices. Paraguay offers an entirely different vibe. In Asunción, high-end luxury high-rise apartments with panoramic views of the Paraguay River and rooftop infinity pools go for absurdly low rates because the international remote work crowd hasn't completely flooded the market yet. You are essentially getting 5-star living conditions for budget motel prices. It's an incredible window of opportunity, that won't last forever. Now let's talk about the absolute best part of living or traveling in South America, the food. This isn't just about survival sustenance. It's about culinary culture that defies the traditional rules of budgeting. In Argentina, meat isn't just food, it's a religion. You walk into a neighborhood carolada at dusk, and the air is thick with the rich, savory smoke of wood-fired beef. You order a ribeye steak that has been aged to absolute perfection, a side of roasted vegetables, and a bottle of Mendoza Malbec. When the check arrives, you almost feel guilty looking at the total because it costs less than a fast food combo meal back home. Street empanadas warm your hands on chilly Andean mornings in Salta for pocket change. Head over to Peru, and you enter a global gastronomic capital where Lima is home to some of the world's best restaurants. While high-end tasting menus will cost you, the local neighborhood markets offer ceviche so fresh, the fish was swimming in the Pacific just hours earlier, served with crunchy corn and sweet potato for just a few dollars. In Colombia, your morning routine transforms entirely. You wander down to a local corner bakery in Bogota or a sunny plaza in Cartagena and grab a freshly baked pan de bono, warm, cheesy bread balls, alongside a cup of rich, locally grown Colombian coffee that puts any chain coffee shop to shame, all for less than $2. In Brazil, the daily ritual revolves around feijoada on Saturdays and endless bowls of acai, topped with fresh tropical fruits in the afternoon heat. Local spots called por kilo restaurants let you pile your plate high with grilled meats, salads, and traditional rice and beans, weighing your meal at the counter for a remarkably low price. You can eat out every single day of the week, explore high-end dining once a month, and still spend significantly less on food than you would cooking every meal at home in North America. But getting around these massive, varied landscapes requires a smart approach to transport. Let's look at how you move through South America without draining your wallet. The continent's transport network is a fascinating mix of ultra-modern infrastructure and rugged, adventurous local transit. In cities like Santiago de Chile and Buenos Aires, the metro systems are clean, efficient, highly reliable, and cost mere pennies per ride. You tap your transit card, step onto a pristine train, and cross an entire metropolis in under 40 minutes. Long-distance travel in Argentina and Brazil relies heavily on regional flights and massive, incredibly comfortable long-distance buses. Forget what you know about cramped Greyhound buses. South American long-distance coaches often feature seats that recline nearly flat, personal entertainment screens, and hot meals served right to your seat by attentive staff, all for a fraction of the cost of a domestic plane ticket. In Colombia, the topography dictates the transport. Because the Andes slice the country into deep valleys and towering ridges, you have innovative transit solutions like the Metrocable in Medellin, aerial cable cars integrated directly into the city's subway network, turning public transit into a breathtaking scenic tour for the price of a standard bus ticket. For longer hops between Colombian cities, budget airlines offer frequent sales where you can fly over massive mountain ranges in less than an hour for $30. In Bolivia and Paraguay, transport gets a bit more adventurous. You'll find colorful local buses, known locally as Times Micros, or Asterisk Colectivos, Asterisk roaring down winding mountain roads or dusty flat highways. They are loud, chaotic, incredibly cheap, and offer an authentic cultural immersion that you simply won't find in first-class rail cars. Whether you're gliding through a high-tech subway or bouncing down a red dirt road in a shared van, getting around South America remains remarkably affordable if you know which options to choose. Of course, none of this matters if you can't stay connected. For the digital nomad, the remote worker, or the modern traveler, internet reliability is the ultimate deal breaker. A decade ago, working remotely from South America was a stressful gamble of dropping Zoom calls and spinning loading reels. Today, the landscape is completely unrecognizable. Major urban centers across the continent boast robust fiber optic internet networks that rival and sometimes exceed North American speeds. In cities like Buenos Aires, Montevideo, and Medellin, getting 300 to 500 megabits per second symmetrical fiber internet to your apartment is standard practice. Cafes, co-working spaces, and boutique hotels are fully optimized for remote professionals, complete with backup generators to handle occasional power grid blips. Even in smaller digital nomad hotspots like Florianopolis in Brazil or Vilcabamba in Ecuador, local internet infrastructure has upgraded dramatically to accommodate the influx of global workers. But what happens when you leave the cities and head into the mountains or the rainforest? This is where satellite internet technology has completely revolutionized the game. Across rural Argentina, the remote estancias of Patagonia, and the lush valleys of Peru, satellite internet systems are providing blazing fast, low-latency connectivity where copper cables could never reach. You can now take a video call from a cabin overlooking an isolated glacial lake thousands of miles away from the nearest major city without missing a single frame. This digital leap forward means you no longer have to sacrifice your career stability to experience the raw, untamed beauty of the continent. But with all these incredible financial perks, modern infrastructure, and culinary wonders, there is one critical question everyone asks before booking that one-way ticket. Is it safe? Safety in South America is complex, nuanced, and vastly misunderstood by mainstream media generalizations. The reality on the ground is a patchwork of stark contrasts. Certain countries, like Uruguay and Chile, boast some of the lowest crime rates in the entire Western Hemisphere, offering peaceful streets where you can walk late at night with your phone out without a second thought. Other nations require a much higher degree of situational awareness. In bustling metropolises like Buenos Aires, Sao Paulo, or Bogotá, petty crimes such as smartphone snatching and pickpocketing is a daily reality that demands vigilance. It's not about living in fear. It's about adopting local habits. You don't flash expensive jewelry. You don't wave high-end cameras around in desolate areas after dark. And you learn which neighborhoods are safe to explore on foot and which ones to avoid. Local locals will warn you with a simple phrase, "No dar papaya" in Colombia, meaning don't make yourself an easy target. Uber and local ride-hailing apps have also transformed urban safety, allowing you to secure vetted transportation directly from your doorstep, straight to your destination, without ever having to hail an unmarked street cab at midnight. When you travel with respect for local realities, keep your wits about you, and listen to the advice of the people who live there, South America opens up as a warm, welcoming, and deeply compassionate continent. People go out of their way to help you, invite you into their homes for Sunday asaldos, and share stories that will stay with you long after your plane touches back down at home. The financial math of living here in 2026 is undeniable, but the human element is what truly makes it unforgettable. Yet, as incredible as these established hubs are, there is a tiny, landlocked nation tucked right in the geographic heart of the continent that operates under a completely different economic playbook, one with zero income tax on foreign source earnings and real estate